the one-on-one sessions. So I've got Sonia and I had Amelia that was, and Gabriel and whoever. So I'm thinking maybe on Monday, if I do the one-on-ones, and then on Tuesday, because there's a lot of people now that's saying that they lost in the basics, they got lost in the process. And also, if you didn't get a good mark for your first assignment and you joined the classes late or you just missed something, don't beat yourself up over it. It's about the final exam. Um, what is your views on that? So should I have rather Tuesday a class for basics
Yes,
and then
please, Sister.
okay, and then Monday I'm gonna take the individual people like Sonia and Gabriel and Amelia. I know she also requested that. And whoever still, I think there might still be slots left, but I'm already confused who asked and who didn't ask because of the time. Um, and then I need to get approval for the class for Tuesday rather for the basics. Are we in agreement with that?
Yes, please, Sister.
Okay, who's this,
Yes,
Monique?
please.
Aziza, sorry, I just wanted to quickly say something. I was thinking that if we're doing a basics class, then we don't need a session anymore because that's also, I think that's where I also got lost.
Okay, so you just want to join the Tuesday session then?
Yeah, sure. So I wanted to say that we can use
Okay,
the Monday slot as well that I booked, but
okay, is Gabriel on? Yeah, Gabriel, you are on. What do you say? Do you want, what was your issue?
No,
Gabe,
Aziza, good morning.
mhm,
My
morning.
issue was on basics, particularly the understanding of the ledgers. I'm a bit fine with the journals. It's the ledgers where I get confused. But if you want to have a class on Wednesday, I don't want to stop you because there's people who are ahead of us with their understanding, and we shouldn't be mean and say no class on Wednesday. If that class is needed by other people, so be it.
No, not the Wednesday class. I'm saying a Tuesday or Monday for basics. The Wednesday will
As,
Oh,
continue as such.
Aziza,
yeah.
can we join the individual sessions?
Please.
Yeah, yes, you can. Uh, not yes and no. You see, if the person books an individual session, he's got questions and answers that is bothering him. So I I normally ask if we can join. So the one has always become the Friday class. That was actually a one-on-one class. Everybody basically sits with the same problem. That's what I believe. So that's why I just invite more and more and more. All is welcome. You know, the all is welcome story. Um, I just want to ask Amelia. Amelia, what is your problem? Also
Hi,
basics
Aziz.
or
Good morning. Yes, also the basics, and I also don't mind if we have the general class on Tuesday. It doesn't have to be one-on-one.
okay. So let me try to get approval for Monday, and then whatever we don't complete, we can continue to Tuesday, so that we can try to get you on par with the rest of the class. It is very exhausting the whole week to have class. But
No problem.
I'll do it the Monday and the Tuesday because if I'm going to do individual people, it takes a lot of my time because I can only do one. So
Exactly.
okay, so let's rather do that and then we have the Tuesday class. I want to ask you the recordings. If you go back to the recordings, do you prefer the interactive class where you on with me all the time, or does the recordings not help to go back to?
No, it does help, Aziza.
Okay, it does help. Okay.
Also, yeah, I'll also look at the recordings.
Okay. So let's do them. I'll try to get the approval before Monday. Then I'll let you know on the group. Then we use the same link. And then Tuesday as well, I'll see if we can get a approval for Tuesday. But the assignments, normally the assignments does not run with my classes because of logistical reasons at the university. So normally the classes, your marks will not be indicative of what you know because you've grew all the time. So don't worry too much about your marks. And a lot of people, they missed certain things. As long as you recognize that you know, this and that and that. If you got a mark of 50% and you weren't in the class or you never attended or listened to recordings before that, then don't beat yourself up because it's 50% and the others is just enhancing. But you need to also work. Okay, let's move on now to chapter 8. Let me just share the screen quickly. Chapter 10, I'm going to do over 2 weeks, over 2 lessons. Chapter 10, chapter 9, sorry. Okay, so let's look at chapter 8. So I'm just going to do everything because right now I don't have clarity on what is going to be in the exams. So if we look at chapter 8, if you look at 8.2, so then you get the 72 small a and you get the 86.3 of the legal practice. Okay, so let me just write it here. The 2 small a and the 86.3. Okay. So this, the key to this is that it's money which is not immediately needed. Okay. So when you see this type of thing, money not immediately needed, right? And then also say it may, however, not be invested on the security exchange or in unit trust. This money is taken from the pool of funds and not from specific trust creditors. The decision to invest the surplus money is always made by the attorney. So that is another thing. The decision to invest is always made by the attorney. Okay. Let's just skip that second paragraph. And then they say trust money may not be deposited directly into a trust investment account. All trust monies must flow through the trust bank account to the trust investment account and so on. Okay. And the withdrawal of the money invested from the trust investment account back to the trust bank account. The trust creditors can then be paid from the trust bank account. So basically the money must flow to the trust creditor through the trust bank to the trust investment account, and then the withdrawal will take the same exit out. Okay, interest earned on a section 78.2a, small a, and section 86.3 must be paid over to the legal fidelity, legal practitioner fidelity fund. So that's it. So or its nominee. It is therefore not the property of the legal practitioner or the trust creditor. Okay, so all this money will be 100% will go to the legal practitioner fund. Okay, the legal practitioner can claim the bank charges on the trust bank account and the audit fees on the trust bank account from the Fidelity fund, subject to certain rules and formula. So you can use this to pay audit fees and interest and bank charges, audit fees, interest, and bank charges. Is there people putting note messages up here? Just give me a sec quickly. Your student numbers must be in the attendance register. Just remember when we have these type of scheduled classes, when you receive the link, then you must put it in the attendance register. When I arrange the class on WhatsApp, we're using this link. You're gonna have to just use the attendance, or you just have to put your student number in. So please just fill in on the attendance sheet. Okay, so let's look at the example 8.1, and this is to do with accounting treatment of section 78.2 small a and 86.3. Okay, the following information was obtained from the accounting records of Winterich, attorneys for June 2008. Okay, the balance of the trust account amounted to 250,000. Mr. Winthrich decided to invest 80, not immediately required. You see that word there? Not immediately required. So we know it's going to be this section, one of these two sections, right? In a special interest bearing account. Okay, what's the other key? The balance of the trust bank account of Winthrich amounted to 250. Mr. Winthrich, the decision came from the attorney. So Mr. Winthrich decided to invest. Okay, Winthrich on day 30, Winthrich attorneys withdrew 80,800 from the savings account with Winbank and deposited it in the trust bank account. So they're saying that we must apply the relevant sections. Let's not do the cash journals first. Let's do our ledgers because ledgers just kind of explain it so much better. We are on page 126. Example 8.1. Okay, let me just continue here. Hopefully there's no more chats. Let's look at the trust bank. What is going on here? Okay, trust bank. We want to do our trust creditors. '78 account. Let's just call it the 86 or the 86 account, whatever the name is. Call that the investment account. And then you'll have the legal fidelity account. Just excuse me, I prefer to call this a legal fidelity account. Okay, so let's start with this, okay? So in this example, they're saying to us the balance of the account was 250,000. So let's put out 250,000, right? Our balance brought down will obviously also be the 250,000, right? Everybody on the same page? So Mr. Winthrich decided to invest the 80,000 Rand. The 80,000 Rand, right? Not immediately required in a special interest bearing. But on the 30th, they decided to draw the 80,800 Rand. Okay? So on the 30th, right, of June, we had receipts of 80,800. Okay. On the 1st of June, right, we had 80,000 Rand as a payment. Okay, so we put the 80,000 here as my payment. All right. And I'm going to put my 80,800 here. Okay. So at the end, okay, of the period, which was on the 1st of the 30th of June or the 1st of July. Okay, so if we calculate 20,000, 250,000 plus your 80,800, you're going to get 330,800. Okay, the highest value in. Okay, so my carry down value is 250,800, which makes perfectly sense. If I take 250,000, right, plus my 80,800. Less my 80,000, but let's just take the 800. Okay, because the 800 is the interest. So that is what I'm sitting with here. Okay, in my trust creditors control account, remember this amount here is the same amount that I must balance with. Okay, so I had a balance brought down of 250,000. 80,800 was my receipts that I acquired. Okay, then 800 Rand was my interest. Okay, remember my interest comes in and it goes out again. Okay, so if I tally it up, the interest I put on my debit side as well. Okay, the interest is paid in and out again. So that is the 800. If I tally it up, the 250,000 plus the 8,800 plus my 800 Rand of my interest that goes to the legal Fidelity fund. Okay, then I get 331,600. This side, 331,600. Okay. If I carry down, just gonna put the carry down here. Okay, I'm gonna carry down on 250,800. Brought down on this side, your 250,800. If I look at my Section 78 account, okay, we debited the trust bank with 80,000 Rand in my payments journal, okay? So you're going to put the 80,000 Rand there, right? My receipts on the at the end of the month was 80,800. So I'm going to put the 80,800 in that investment account. Okay. And that comes from my receipts. Okay. So if I balance it out at 80,800, 80,800, I am basically getting my interest that goes to the Fidelity fund. And that interest that is what I'm going to, okay, put on this side. I'm going to credit my legal fidelity fund and I debit my Section 78 account. And in this one here, I'm going to put the Section 78 slash whatever we think it is slash WinBank type of thing. Let me just try to put this in an everyday scenario. Assumingly you want to buy a property, right? And you come to me. I'm an attorney, and you want to buy a property maybe for 30,000 rand, right? Let's just make accounts quickly. I just want to see if I can put it in a more user-friendly scenario. What's happening here? Okay, so say you come to me and you want to purchase property, right? I bank at ABSA, right? Immediately when you come into my business, right? You're gonna debit. I'm gonna put the money into my trust bank, 50,000. Immediately, it's Vivian, right? He wants to buy property and he uses me. So I'm gonna put my 50,000 on that side, right? So Vivian tells me, after he leaves the practice, you can bring some coffee. And he says, hey, Aziza, what are you gonna do with that money? That you're going to, and I'm gonna give you. I say, okay, Vivian, I'm gonna put it in the Nedbank investment account. So I go and I put it into my Nedbank investment account / I call it Vivian / section 78 or 86, whatever it is. Right. I say, okay, relax, Vivian. So I take that 50,000 out of the trust bank and I go and invest it in my Nedbank account. Right. So at the end of 6 months, Vivian calls me and says, Aziza, when is this transfer going to happen? I say, oh, it was just going to happen now, or did it happen, or whatever. I'm just going to check quickly. And I go at, say, in December, whenever, later time. I go and draw the statement and I see it's 60,000, right? Which means to say that 10,000 was the interest, right? I'm going to remove this money out of the account now, right? So I'm going to remove, say, the 50,000 and the 10,000 and the, so that's the 60,000, right? Because we want to do the transfer now. So I take that 10,000 rand, right? And that's with my interest, right? So at the end, my trust bank is going to reveal 60,000, right? The 50,000, I'm going to put it here so that we can pay my trust creditors account. Does this make sense to you, the way I explained it now?
It does.
Depending, it just depends now on what section we're using. So if it was like with the, then I would have obviously have the legal fidelity fund if it was that section or whatever. But just the general idea, because it's kind of like difficult to visualize it with this one nutrition, whatever. Vivian, so you say it makes a bit more sense because I used your name.
Yeah. Listen, you know, on the interest that we earn on that investment account, we transfer that entire amount back to the trust bank account, and then from there we do the transfer to Fidelity Fund.
Because here at the end, this is what it's going to reveal what the account is. Because yes, you're transferring it back there. And then you
Back to
obviously
the trust
saying,
bank.
yes, yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Aziza, just a question from me for clarity. That 10,000 Rand, why does it go to the legal practitioner's Fidelity account? Why not to the client?
Because this is a section 78 point small a and 86.3, and that is what the section says that the attorney gets the money, the legal fidelity fund gets the money. If it was the other section in the trust creditor would have got maybe 95% or 100% of the money. But under this act, and that's important to know, under the 78 small a, which is this year, and the 86.3, everything goes to them. Maybe they're just greedy. I don't know why they want the money.
Thank you, Aziza.
My question is, do you go into the attorney and say, I want a 78 small a and or 86.3? I didn't even know that you can, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm planning to buy a property now, so I'm like gonna go and say, give me a big A because I want my money back. I didn't even know that this like kind of like exists. Or what did you know prior to studying this? Like that the attorney can make a decision on your money.
No, I wasn't aware of that. I think something that we're learning now.
Okay,
Aziza,
so let's go back to
Aziza,
our example now.
Aziza,
Yes,
sorry. Before we move on, what's the difference between
yes.
now these? It's differentiating between the 78(2) small a Attorneys Act and Legal Practice Act. What's the? It's the same principle, but they're just calling it two different things.
Yes, I think the one was the old, the other one, I think the 78 is the old one. Let me just go back into the book here. Somewhere they say the
Because the Legal Practice Act is the
problem, the 78 is new. I don't know what is the difference even between the two. I thought that the 86s was a newer one.
Oh no, you're right. Because in the beginning of the book, it says there that the Attorneys Act governs the attorneys, but it's now the Legal Practice Act. So probably they left both just to. I don't know why,
Yes.
but yeah.
Yeah, so the 86s is probably the new ones. That's probably why they're also just testing the 86s. But nevertheless, let's know both just in case. So let's do
Aziz,
our journals now. Yes.
Aziza, sorry, this is
Sorry.
Walene. Sorry, it's Walene. We received the tutorial 104 last night with regards to these two sections, and I'm not sure if I'm correct, but according to the tutorial, it says that we must ignore the section 78 and only focus on the section 86. There was an email sent sometime last night.
Thank you, my darling. And that's what I asked. That's what I
Yes,
thought was
a
going to be
tutorial
sent.
104.
Yeah, okay. But it's okay. Okay, so let's just, but the examples is now so integrated also. Let's just, I tell you what, when we're gonna do exam prep, we only continue with 86. But for now, just so that we can see the picture. Is that okay with you people? Okay. So now this amount here is my cash receipts, right? This amount here is my business cash, sorry, my trust cash payments. And this amount here is my general journal. Oh, sorry, not the general journal, trust journal. Okay, which is where the interest is recorded. Can you see why I say it's easier to start working with ledgers? Because if you were going to go do a cash a cash journal, any cash journal, I'm sure you would have made a mistake. Okay, so the 80,800 goes in there under my trust creditors control. Okay, so this is my receipts journal. We know it's debit bank, credit my trust creditors control account, and that is the section 78 slash, and it was WinBank with a trust creditor. And the date was 30th. Okay. If I do my trust cash receipts journal, sorry, my trust cash payments journal. Okay. My bank is going to be at 80,000. Just put this below that. My bank is going to be at the 80,000. Trust creditors control is going to be the 80,000. So basically it's credit bank 80,000, debit my trust creditors control account. And this was also the last day of the month. Okay. And let's just put the section there, whatever it was, and it's WinBank. And it's section, what's the trust creditor? Okay, to account for that 800, you obviously going to do a trust journal. Similar to our general journal, you're going to have your date, details here, and your debit and your credit. Okay. So you're going to debit your section 78 account, which was this one, which we said here. You're going to debit this account and credit my legal practitioner fund. So let's just copy it over. So that's what I'm going to debit, and I'm going to credit my legal practitioner's fund. Credit in a lower line, 800, and here I'm going to debit 800. Block this stuff off. Do you find that it's easier working with the ledger first? Hello? Are we still on? Hello?
Hi,
Silence
Aziza.
confusion.
Yes,
We can
Aziza,
hear
we can
you.
hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now. Do you find that the ledgers work easier first and then you move over to your journals? Or would you prefer diving into your journals first?
No, I think the ledgers works better if you do them first and then the journals. But Aziza, I've got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
On there we are right now, the trust creditors control account.
Mm-hmm.
So you put in the 250, which I understand, and you put in the payment of 80,000, which I understand. Then the carry down is 250. I'm completely solid with that. But then on the credit side, you put in 80,800, and then below that you put in interest, and then you tally that. Does that 80,800 not include the interest already?
It does, but remember here we're taking it in and out again. So the 80,800 is basically that amount that I'm putting in there to get this to balance here. You understand? So this interest, you're going to see that you're going to debit your interest and credit your interest again. But this 80,800 you put in there because that is actually what you received at the end of the month in the trust
Okay.
creditors control. I think you will just do a few examples and then you get the nick of it.
Okay. Thank you, Ziza.
Okay. Let's move on to the next example. And with this one, it looks like it's a 78 to capital A and a 86.4. Your bracket there. Okay, so in this one, the important thing here is that the decision is made by the client. Okay, and what else is important? Okay, so with this, here you got 100%. Here under a section 86.4, you get only 95% interest. So 95% will go to my trust creditor, right? And the other 5% will go to the legal practitioner fidelity fund, is what it's so long to say. Okay, but under the 78 2A, right, you're gonna get 100%. I would like that one. Okay, so let's look at the example under the accounting treatment of both. Okay, so on the next page, example 8.2. So the following information was obtained from the accounting records of liquor attorneys for May. Okay, on the 30th of April, client E. McDonald deposited 280 in the trust bank account of liquor attorneys. The 280 was a deposit for E. McDonald on a property purchase from the city. Okay, let's look at that. And E. McDonald instructed liquor attorneys to invest a total amount of 280 in an interest-bearing investment account at African Bank until the transfer of the property is effected. The balance of the trust bank account after the deposit in the trust bank account, but before the transfer to the trust investment, was 720. The property was registered on the 30th of May. The 31st of May, Mika withdrew the investment, and there was 282,400, which was deposit. So we already know there's a 2,400 interest that they made. So you tell me now, how are we going to do? Maybe just draw up ledgers quickly. All the ledger entries. Okay. What are we going to put in our trust bank account?
The deposit of
And
two.
what are we going to... Hold on. Trust creditors. Look up. So what are we going to put in my trust bank account firstly? Anybody?
Isn't it the balance brought down of 280,000?
Does everybody agree with her? Why do you agree or why don't you agree with her in the trust bank?
Because that was the initial money that was received on the 30th.
Yes.
The initial
but on the 1st of May. So what are you saying? How much must it be? So anybody else? Why do you agree or disagree with the lady?
Hi, Aziza.
Yes.
I think the 720 is the balance brought down, and then the 280 was the payment.
Yes. If you read there, they say the balance of the trust bank after the deposit into the trust bank, but before the transfer of all investments was 720. So and if you look at the date there on the 1st of May, so my balance brought down was 720,000. Okay, so I can put the balance brought down here as 720,000. Anything else? What else is going to go into my trust bank account and why?
Then you credit the 280 from the trust bank so that it goes into the special investment account.
Okay. So I'm going to credit here as payment. Okay. And then
you debit the special investment account must be debited with the 280 that you credited from the trust bank.
Okay, so that is E. McDonald, and it was 86.4, and it was at Africa Bank. Okay, so we put the 280,000 rand there, and that came from our trust cash payments journal, and it was a trust from our trust bank. Okay, anybody else? What else are we going to put in our trust bank account? Remember, this is the first. Okay. Did everybody put the fill in the attendance register, please? Anybody else want to go? I still see some people putting their student numbers in the group chat. Please don't. Okay, anything else? What else is going to go into my trust bank account?
What about the interest?
Do you want to put the interest in my trust bank account? How much do you want me to put in? And where must I put it?
I'll put because it's money that came in. I'll put the whole 2,000 and 2,400.
You want to put that in the trust bank?
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else want to comment? On the 31st of May, we must not. Why don't you put the whole amount? Because on the 31st of May, we must have 282,400. They said in the question, liquor attorneys withdrew the investment received on 282 and it was deposited into the trust bank account.
Yeah, sorry.
Is that not
Yes.
so?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to have a carry down value on this side of 722,400. Wrote down value here of 722,400. Okay, so let's do our trust creditors. Remember, we must do it sort of simultaneously because these are receipts here. So let's put my payments here. My receipts here. Okay, and left off receipts. And let's put our payments here was the 31st of May, and it was 282,400. Okay, what am I going to put? What else am I still going to put in here?
The interest, Aziza.
The interest of 2,400. Okay, put it in and take it out again. What else? Our payments. Are we not going to put our payments in? And our payment was the 280,000 rand. Okay, so let's tally up. If you tally up on this side, you're going to get the 1 million, 2,400, 1 million, 2,400. Okay, so your carry down is going to be on this side as 722,400 and the 722,400. Let's just make it in red. Righty. So let's continue now with E. McDonald's account in our trust creditors ledger. So remember that this 2,400 Rand, right? We have to take times 95% and 2,400 times your 5%. Cynthia. Okay. So 2,400 times 95% is going to give me 2280 and 120. So where does this 2280 go to and where does this 120 go to? Who gets what now?
The 120 should go to McDonald, and the 2280 should go to the Fidelity Fund.
To the legal fidelity. Do you agree with her?
No, it's
Does
the other
everybody
way.
agree with her?
No,
It's the other way around, yes. Okay, so 120 is going to go to my legal practitioner fidelity fund. And the 2280 is going to go to my trust creditor, which is E. McDonald. Okay, so let's open up an account here for E. McDonald quickly. We do have an account here. So let's call this E. McDonald. And we have another T account here. Let's make another one here. So we can have one called the legal practitioner Fidelity. So we said the 120 is going to go into my legal Fidelity fund. My was a 2280. Okay, the 2280 is going to go to E. McDonald, right? And this 2,400 Rand year is we're gonna debit the 2,400 Rand. Okay, so in this account, we're gonna put here E. McDonald and the legal practitioner Fidelity fund, right? In this account here, we're going to call it the section 78 or 86.4 account, with which bank? Africa Bank. Okay, and the same year. Okay, we're going to call it the section 86, whatever we want to call it, and whichever bank it was. So can you see? Okay, so now there's still one thing here. Okay, so we tally it up as 282,400, 282,400. So it's exactly like I explained here with the Nedbank, the story here. So the 50,000 and the interest. Okay, so let's just call it the 280,000, which is made up of the receipt and the 2,400, which is made up of the interest that you're now taking out. Okay. So now let's put this into our journals. Okay, so let's go to our trust bank. So this amount here, we are going to put it in our trust cash receipts. Okay. And this amount here is going to go to my trust cash payments journal. Okay. Just highlight it. What is going to go into my trust journal? This amount with this amount, right? With this amount. So in my trust journal, I'm going to debit E. McDonald with the 2,400. I'm going to credit E. McDonald, okay, the trust creditor, with the 2,280, and I'm going to credit my legal practitioner fund with 120, and that's going to build up my 2,400. Must I do it for you? Must I put it on paper now? Let's just do it. Okay, so there's bank. Okay, we're going to have our trust creditors control account. Let's just put your details. And let's just put the date here in. And we said we're busy with the trust cash receipts journal. Up, the 282,400. Okay, debit my bank, credit my trust creditors control. 282,400. Okay, it's a note to me here. Okay, what am I going to put in here? I'm going to put E. McDonald. McDonald, which is a trust creditor, and it was from Africa Bank. And the date was the 31st. If I do it, the trust cash payments journal, okay, people, are we recording? Oh, yes, we are. If I'm going to do my trust cash payments journal, that 280,000 Rand there, I'm going to put in my trust cash payments journal. So let's put, we're going to credit our bank here, debit out, trust creditors control, righty, and we're going to put the reference here, E. McDonald, slash is your trust creditor from Africa Bank. If I do my trust journal, okay, similar to my general journal, there's a debit and there's a credit, okay? And the date was the 31st, right? I said, let's just put your details. I said we are going to debit the 2,400, just like we did in my ledger, the 2,400. Let's just copy that. Whatever we wrote there, debit it. And we are going to credit, not the 2,400, the 2280, sorry. We are going to credit let's just E. McDonald, the E. McDonald, because he's going to get that money, and the legal fidelity fund. Let's just copy that. And what is it, the 120? So you're going to get your 2,400 and your 2,400 there. Okay, okay. So you can now see that that is going to balance with this here, the 282,400, and this balances here with the 2,400 plus the 280. All righty. En is baie stil. Okay, say this was a section 78.2 capital A, right? Say this was a 2 capital A. How would my entries have changed? Anybody want to go for it? Anybody? Anybody?
Aziza,
Yes.
100% of the interest earned would be paid to the trust creditor. So E. McDonald would get 100% of the interest.
So where would I record that? So I will also report that in my trust journal. Okay. So I would then do McDonald, right? Something like that. And he will get the full 2,400. Can you see the difference between, kom ons maak nou die geel. Can you see the difference between the section 78 and the section 86.4?
Aziza, why is under section 86.4, E. McDonald is credited with the 2880? Sorry.
Sorry, it's a mistake. It's up in 2280.
Okay.
Okay. Does everybody get this that we just did now, or do you want me to re-explain this example again? Or should we move on?
No, can we just do a quick recap, please?
Okay. So we said because this is a 86.4, right? It means that 95% of the interest goes to the trust creditor and 5% goes to the legal practitioner's fidelity fund. The attorney then has a claim from that 5% to claim for bank fees, audit fees, subject to certain rules and regulations. Okay. So if we calculate it, we said that 95% would be 2,280, which will go to the trust creditor, and 120 will go to the legal fidelity fund. That we have to show in our trust journal. And in our trust journal, you're going to separate it. So if you look at here, where we did our ledger entries, we went, we debited the 2,400 because this is the interest, right? But the interest we then credited with 2280. We split it up. So we made a separate ledger account for E. McDonald. Okay. And then we had a separate ledger account for the legal fidelity fund. Okay. Which was the 120 that we gave, pay it over to the legal fidelity fund. This amount here was the amount that we brought in to invest. But at the end of the term, we sat with 282,400, which we are then going to split up back again here. Okay. So this is actually 280,000 plus 2,400. That is the 280,000 came in as a payment. In my trust creditors control account, we received 282,400 at month end. Just look at your dates to get more clarity. You can see here, this is the 1st. You can see this is the 31st. You can see here, this is the 1st. Okay? You can see this is the 1st. You can see at the end of the period, the interest is calculated with it. Okay. So, yeah. Let's look at the next example. This is just something that we need to practice and practice to get the nick of it. All righty. Let's look at example 8.3, but I want you people to participate. So let's look at 8.3 on page 133. They say the accounting treatment of section 78.2 small a and section 78.2 capital A. Okay, the following information was obtained from the records of Morgan attorneys for August 2007. So the balance on the 1st of August, right, was for the trust bank was XXX. Then they gave us a list of trust creditors, which was XXX. Then they gave us the following transactions, which took place on a range of dates from the 1st to the 31st. So I need you to prepare the subsidiary journals, okay? But start with the ledger entries first. So while you think about it, let me just draw up all my ledger entries quickly because I'm going to need a few. And then okay, let's begin with the trust bank. Who wants to go first?
The breakdown on the debit side is 337,500.
Okay, yeah, Bo. Okay, so the balance brought down, and that is what you found in the trial balance. Okay, what else would you put in?
Bank trust payment
Of how much and why? Okay, so we know here must be some sort of receipts. And here must be some sort of payments. Anybody want to go? So I would say that there must be a 95,625 rand. Okay, and that would come from day 22 when Morgan withdrew the investment made on the 3rd of August and received 95,625 rand. Maak dit sin? That's mos 'n receipt.
Okay.
Anything else?
The 31st, then, if we look into the receipt of
Yes.
70,
So on the
76.
30, yes,
Okay.
76,825 rand. Now here we can already see, right, that 95,000 rand, what would be the interest on this payment? Already looking at it.
Because the initial investment was 93. So
That's it.
mm,
That's it. So the 93, let me just minus it quickly. Let me just keep it in our head. The initial investment was 93,750 and 95,625. So there's a 1875 interest that we need to keep. Okay. Okay. What still goes into my trust bank account? I'm just gonna copy this over here as my receipts. Okay. Okay, and then this one here as well, the 76,000. The initial investment was 75,000. So there's an interest already of 1825 that we made. Okay. So what is going to go on my payment side? Is your balance brought down to begin with? What is going on?
I think there is a 208,000 payments, which is made of the 150,000 that was transferred into the special investment account.
Okay, there's one. So it was the 150,000. On day one, let's just call it 150,000. Any other payments?
The other payment is the 58,000, which was made on the 5th.
The 58,000. Okay. Any other payments?
48,750.
Okay. 48,750. Any other payments? Any other payments?
No other payment.
Wasn't the 93 Rand an outpayment of the trust creditor on day 3? When M. Mills requested Morgan to invest the amount in his trust account in a special saving account to his benefit, Morgan attorneys invested the amount in First Bank. So wouldn't we take that 93,000 as well? Right?
yes.
Okay. And then on day 22, right, on request of Mills, Morgan attorneys paid 48,750 to B. Barney's daughter and the rest of the amount in the trust bank of M. Mills. So he had 93,750 minus the 48. So it's 46,875 Rand. Okay. So if you tally these up, right, the 50, you get here 337 plus 95 plus 76 will be 509, 950. Move it one down. Right, so you're going to get 509, 950. And here you're going to get 509, 950. 509, 950. Right. So you're going to have a carry down value. Sorry, there's no space. Let me just put the carry down value here on top. So my carry down value is going to be 112,575. And let's just put the brought down value in this side, 112,575. So in your trust creditors control account, let's just put this full amount here, which let's just copy all these payments here. All right. Right. So what else goes into my trust creditors control account?
Isn't it the interest?
And the interest is?
Is it not 100% of it?
What section are we busy with?
Isn't it 78.2? Yeah, it's 100%. We're busy with 78.2. Oh, but then also 78.28, the capital one.
So what interest? What is the total interest that must go in there?
It's 100%, Aziza.
Okay, which is how much?
The initial amount, it's
not 3.7.
Yes, it's the 3,700. And the 3,700 of the interest. Okay. And let's just put here interest. Let's just put here, these are all payments. Payments. And then let's just put here also payments. So that if you go and review, you know what how we got it. Okay, the payments. Okay, so now we've got a 3.7 in my trust creditors ledger.
the 100%, the 3,700. Did you get it from the balance board and from that 3,750?
That one, yes, the 1875 and the 1825, which was the balance of the 75,000 minus the, what was it, the 76,825, and then the balance of the 93,750 that they invested, and they reaped 95,625. So altogether, the interest was 37. Okay. So if you tally up on this side, it gives you 513. No, and I'm local. 513, 650 513,650. Righty. You're going to carry down on 112,575, and the balance brought down is 112,575. Let me just make this in red or something. A different color, blue. Blue. Blue.
As these are two columns on top of that, we've got a 509,950. I think that should not be there because that was the total of the credit side of the trust bank. We shouldn't have that, I think.
Why not?
No, not there, below on the trust creditors control.
Yeah.
It's line 152, column D.
Line 152.
Column D.
Did something happen now?
Yes, we shouldn't have
Okay,
that
yeah,
there.
I'm scratching out. 93,750. Okay, it must have when something happened. Thanks for that. Okay, so can you see there my carry down values are all balancing. Let's move to the next tier account, which is my trust creditors ledger.
Aziza,
yes,
you're still having it wrong, my
yes.
dear. Just delete the entire line of 152 because you have now 97.
Oh, I have two now.
Yes, you've got two of
Okay.
them now.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Typo. Okay, let's move to our trust creditors ledger account of Weyers and Moles. Okay, and who's the other one? Okay, never mind the other people, they're insignificant. Okay, so let's look at Moles account. What are we going to do in Moles trust creditors ledger account? Where do we start with the balance brought down?
Yes, we're going to start with the balance brought down.
Okay, and the balance brought down was?
93,750.
Okay. Was there any payments?
His daughter, payment toward his daughter.
Shouldn't we be starting with the interest, maybe?
Do you want to start with the interest?
No,
okay, you can start wherever you want to.
Okay.
So what do you want to put in here?
For the 870.
Sorry, I didn't hear that the line went, honey. Can you repeat yourself, please?
For the 870, the payment.
Okay, that was on day 22. Okay. Any other payments or whatever you want to put in?
The 46,875 payments as well.
Okay. So if we balance it out, you get your 95,625. 95,625. Balance it out, 95,625. And the balance is my interest of 1875. Okay, so that would be my interest of MOLs in my section, in my section 78 account. Okay, and it was with first investment. Okay. Right. Let's skip Weyers and let's skip. Let's do our Section 78 Trust Investment Account. With Best Bank. Okay. So what are we going to put in our trust investment account, our Section 78 trust investment account?
Sorry, Aziza, can I just take you back? The
Uh-huh.
96,875 payment. Which day is that?
Sorry, is it the 96, 95? You want to know this 95,625? Which
No,
day's payment?
96,875.
No, that's typo. I don't know what's happening here. If I'm typing wrong or something, there's a format in. So that must be the 46,875. Sorry.
Thank you.
There's it right now. Okay. So that was also a payment on day 22. Okay, let's just move. Let's do the Section 78 investment account with Best Bank. What goes into that Section 78 investment account? Or would you prefer to do the Section 78 account of mills? So let's do mills, Section 78 account, which was at First Bank. You're going to credit your payments, isn't it so? Aren't we going to credit all our, not our payments, our receipts of the 95,625? We debited here. We're going to credit our receipts, our payments, sorry. I'm talking nonsense to you now. We're going to debit all our receipts here, okay, in Mole's account, right? And then we're going to debit the 93,750, which is a contra account to this account here. So that will be all my payments. Okay. So the 93,750, we balance it out, right? Let's just put 95,625, 95,625, as we're going to get my interest of the 1875, okay, which is paid to him, which is the trust creditor. It was Moles, right? Are you with me? 1875. Are you all with me?
Yes.
So, okay, so now we're done with Moles. We're not going to worry about Weyers the Legal Fidelity Fund. What do they get? Are they getting any money here?
They're getting 5%.
5% of what?
Isn't it of the...
Isn't the 5%? Isn't the 5% under the 86 only?
You see, that one is under the 2 small a of the 75,000. So
if it's the 2A, they're getting
then,
0. The big
no,
A, it's
no.
no. If it's small A, it's
The
9.
big A, yes. Yes, but if you look at, let me just see here quickly, what indication do they give us? So the 75,000 was paid detail. Morgan attorneys redeemed half. Let me just see what indication do they give us here. Okay. Why am I so mixed up now?
Aziza,
Yes.
if you check on page
Yes.
1, on page 133,
Uh-huh.
it talks about 72 small a and section 72A.
Yes. Now 75, that 75,000 shows that it is a 72 small a. Okay. So
Wait.
Morgan decided to invest 150,000 Rand. Okay. So Morgan invested 150,000 of the funds not immediately available. Morgan redeemed half of the trust fund on the 1st of August and received 76,000, which he paid into the trust fund. So it came from him, from Morgan, which was an attorney, and he instructed it. So obviously it's a small a. You see, on day one, Morgan decided to invest 150,000 of the funds not immediately required in a special account at Best Bank. And then on day 31, he redeemed half and he made a profit of 76,000 Rand.
Okay.
So which means to say it's a small a, which means to say that all that interest is going to go to the Legal Fidelity Fund. So if I've got a thing here, I must have Legal Fidelity Fund, which shows here that the full interest is going to go to them. And you're going to put the section 78 small a to small a now. Okay. Okay. And that was with Best Bank. So that 1825 is 100%. Let's just put here 100% goes to them. Okay. What other thing is still missing? Our section 78 2A investment fund. The small a. Too small a. Just a is right. Okay. So in this too small a, right? The 150,000 Rand that we just spoke about, and the 76,000 profit, and the 75,000 that he redeemed. Let's do it in this account now. You may begin. Let's talk about the easier balance brought down. Okay, there is kind of like a balance brought down. So that was on the 150,000, which was the trust bank money that came from the when he invested it. Okay, so the trust cash payments journal, and it was a payment, right? And right. So that 150,000 is there. What went into our receipt journal? Or in that top is the top part. That amount there. Okay. So I debited my trust bank and I need to credit now this for 95,000. Sorry, not the 95, the 76,000. Where is this? So my 76,825 Rand is what he received at the end of the month, which is he brought in 75, half of the 150, which he redeemed half. So the 75 minus the 76,825. So that would be my interest, the 125 interest. Okay, which I would then I'm going to debit my section 72 capital A, small a, sorry, and that money is going to go to my legal practitioner Fidelity Fund. 1825. Okay, so my closing balance here is going to be 151,825. So my closing balance is going to be the 75,000, which hasn't really got interest to it yet. Okay. And that 1825 year is where's my legal fund, the 1825 is what I'm crediting my legal Fidelity Fund with, or legal practitioner Fidelity Fund with. This one was a bit complicated. It was integrated, but you might get such an example in the exam because you might get it integrated with the 86.3 and the 86.4, which runs on the same principle really, except for the 100% and the 95%. Okay, I think this we should actually continue on Wednesday's class. How do people feel? I think we should
so.
continue.
I think so as well as but we redo it. Maybe we must go in order because I got a bit lost when we jumped the days. So if we can go in date order and then
Yeah.
a bit better.
Okay. But let's let's look at this section again on Wednesday, and then we continue the Saturday again with the correspondence. Okay. I just want to put the recording off. Okay, I've just put the recording off now.